The Vikings, who were a seafaring people from the Scandinavian countries of Norway, Denmark, and Sweden, began to raid and conquer parts of England in the late 8th century. They were known for their naval raids and conquests, as well as their explorations and settlements in various parts of Europe, Asia, and the Americas. The Vikings were skilled sailors and craftsmen, and they used their expertise to build sturdy ships that could withstand rough seas and long voyages. These ships, known as longships, were narrow and fast, with a shallow draft that allowed them to navigate shallow rivers and coastlines. The Vikings used these longships to travel to far-off lands in search of new territories to conquer and settle. The Vikings first began raiding the coasts of England in the late 8th century, targeting monasteries and coastal towns for their valuable treasures and supplies. In 865, a large Viking army arrived in England and began a more organized campaign of conquest. They captured the city of York, established a base there, and began to expand their territory throughout England. The Vikings faced resistance from the Anglo-Saxons, who were the native people of England at the time. However, the Vikings were skilled fighters and were able to defeat the Anglo-Saxons in battle, gradually expanding their control over more and more of England. In the late 9th century, the Viking leader Guthrum made a treaty with the king of the Anglo-Saxons, Alfred the Great, which divided England into two parts, the Viking-controlled north and the Anglo-Saxon-controlled south. The Vikings established their own kingdom in the north, known as the Danelaw, and the Anglo-Saxons remained in the south. The Vikings continued to raid and conquer parts of England for several more centuries, but their rule eventually came to an end in the early 11th century when the Anglo-Saxons, led by King Edward the Confessor, regained control of the country. Despite their defeat, the Vikings left a lasting impact on England and the wider world, and their legacy can still be seen today in the many place names and cultural traditions that they left behind.